Fire in the mountains, glaciers melting at alarming rates, species going extinct. If I didn't know any better, I would think the world is going extinct. Well, to an extent. With reports being taken from the UN Secretary General Gutierrez describing the state we are in, it is hard to ignore what he has to reap. Speaking about the situation with millions without power in New Orleans and the constant rain in New York, he has to say, these events would be impossible without human-caused climate change. Costly fires, floods, and extreme weather events are increasing everywhere. These changes are just the beginning of worse to come, he warned. A warning for the world. Today I'm here to bring awareness to global warming and its effects and champion for change so our future does not look so grim. Global warming affects the whole world, not just select places. And if not dealt with sooner, it will become a detriment to our survival. Through natural cycles and fluctuations have caused the Earth's climate to change several times over the last 800,000 years. Our current era of global warming is directly attributed to human activity, specifically to our burning of fuel fossils such as coal, oil, gasoline, and natural gas, which results in the greenhouse effect. Today I will discuss and talk about global warming, identify the causes that has led us to be in the state we're at now, and finding the solutions that we can improve the safety of not just ourselves, but everyone around us. The problem. The lack of knowledge of global warming is understandable, with many news coverages and not that many articles really coming up to the top of your page or to your mind. Global warming is just kind of, I'd say right here, when it really should be right here. It's enough to point fingers, but action is needed right now. The problem that global warming has on this world, it is vital points and is a worldwide problem. Problems described by the UN in an article called The Health Effects of Global Warming. Developing countries are the most vulnerable. By Paritosh Kasatia, such as infectious diseases, IPCC predicts that global warming will worsen human health conditions, especially in tropic regions. Heat waves, prolonged periods of abnormally high temperatures can have serious health effects on vulnerable populations, such as the elderly and the sick. Heat waves are given in the name climate change, or global warming. And now, it's not something you can deny, as everybody on the planet has experienced this warmth, and I'm telling you, these last couple of years have just been pretty damn hot, reaching past 100 degrees, 109 degrees in some days. The effects of extreme weather conditions are also mentioned in an article called Impact of Global Warming, published by the WWF.org. Extreme weather events like bushfires, cyclones, droughts, and floods are becoming more frequent and more intense as a result of global warming. The fires that California has had alone have proved that these devastating catastrophes are happening. It's not some thing that's out of the blue air. No, this is happening. We see this. We see news coverage. We see days that these fires go with no relief. No matter how much water you can put on it, these fires just keep growing. Global warming has been steadily increasing over the last couple of decades due to many different factors, human factors to say the least. According to an article titled Climate Change, How Do We Know?, published by NASA, puts the blame on humans for this problem. It is undeniable that human activities have warmed the atmosphere, ocean, and land, and that widespread and rapid change in the atmosphere, ocean, cryosphere, and biosphere have occurred. The collapse and retreat of many glaciers due to melting down, ice sheets decreasing in mass, and extreme weather conditions such as heat, which has never been higher compared to 1950. The planet warming up by about 2 degrees might not seem like a lot on paper, but 2 degrees is, a tipping point in some situations. That's pretty damn hot. To go to the beach where the water is getting warmer from absorbing the heat rays. So, the beach might not even seem like a good place to go in the middle of the summer. In another article called Overview of Greenhouse Gases by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA for short, goes into detail the effects of an abundant amount of carbon dioxide can do and what has caused it. The article goes on to say, the main human activity that emits CO2 is the combustion of fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, and oil, for energy and transportation, although certain industrial processes and land use change also emit CO2. The burning of fossil fuels, which can be found in cars, factories, airplanes, are all contributing factors in the rise in carbon dioxide, which is in the atmosphere, the ocean, and on land. Now, solutions. What can we do to help combat this problem? While the topic might seem grim with, one person might not be enough, or you thinking the little changes you might do might not be enough. Well, here to prove you wrong. An alternative to combat global warming is to use different alternatives. Kind of like spending less, spending less on food, spending less on clothing, spending less on things that would be made in factories. Factories that use these things to burn fossil fuels to make the product that you have. If you have a current phone, you don't need to jump onto the next two of them. You are fine with your phone. The clothes you are wearing, you are fine as long as there's no holes, there's nothing ripped. Let's save that for people who actually need it. In an article published Greenpeace.org, what are the solutions to climate change? It talks about other alternatives that we can do to stop the emissions from rising. Reduce plastic. Plastic is made from oil in the process of extracting, refining, and turning oil into plastic, or even polyester for clothing is surprisingly carbon intense. It doesn't break down quickly and not in nature, so a lot of plastic is burned, which contributes to emissions. Yes, those plastic water bottles that you think won't add up since just 4 bottles. Imagine 4 bottles in every household. That's a lot of bottles. In another article titled Explore 7 Climate Change Solutions by the New York Times on November 2nd, citing an alternative method, join a movement. This guest essay urges people to focus on systems and not themselves. What groups could you get involved with that are working towards some of the solutions you learned about? Identify at least one group, either local, national, or international, on one way you could support it. If buying and eating less is too much, then joining a movement can be a good positive alternative. Find a group that is interested in what you are. Find a group that wants change. Those 5, 6, 7 people might not seem a lot, but as you continue to grow and grow, that small number becomes a little bit bigger every time, causing a bigger change, hopefully in the future. To wrap things up, today I have spoken about the global crisis that is to come and the leading causes that had let climate change pick up pace in the last handful of years, as well as possible solutions to help combat the solution. Solutions such as reducing the amount of stuff we consume, whether that be food, clothes, technology, and limit ourselves to not be excessive. If it seems like you cannot do much compared to the scale of the situation, the little things build up every day, so hopefully those little life changes or just changes will have a big impact on the